down the hill and pull on the left side.
Welcome, one and all, to the theater of pain! It seems these upstarts think they can compete with the best combatants in all of Maldraxxus! Ha! I'll believe it when I see it!
I accidentally added too many S's, so I told the paladin to list on the boss. Hello, CanaryBoo, and welcome to the stream. He's so cute. He is so cute. Careful with the poison. You want to make sure you're baiting this poison off to the side. Remember that the poison will continue to show up throughout the boss fight, and you want to make sure you're not baiting it in front of your melee, but also that you're not trapping yourself in a corner. You want to make sure, like, if you're ranged, you're baiting it maybe on the inside, the melee can go on the outside, or vice versa. Just make sure that you're in a position where you can dodge the frontal and bait the poison out of the way. Also remember, for every boss that dies, the other bosses gain 5% more damage. So you want to make sure that these bosses die relatively close together. Hello, CanaryBoo.
Run out.
Watch the frontal. Alright, the bosses are almost dead, and then we are going to go downstairs. So the first room we go into downstairs is the banner room. The reason I go into the banner room first is because the banner room has no extra percent. So unless you know your percent perfectly, yeah, I would suggest going into the banner room first.
It seems our little pups have some bite after all. Now that the preliminaries are over, the real trials can begin!
That is an interesting emote, Kevin. Wow.
We'll see how long you can last.
Pulling the ads off to the side. Don't forget that this first ad can actually change, because the other ad could win, so you're not always going to get the axe. Sometimes you could get the other guy with the AoE damage.
A gift of power.
Make sure you're CCing or interrupting the affix. Interrupting roar is going to silence your casters. Be careful not to cast during interrupting roar. Instance respawn updated. So actually, if you're wondering if your respawn location has moved, you can actually see it down in the chat where it says instance. The instance updated your respawn location. You just have to be careful, because when it says it, it doesn't always update it to that spot where it tells you in the chat. It just means that it moved it. Doesn't necessarily tell you where it moved your respawn location to. Careful with the bloodthirsty charge. Literally during the bloodthirsty charge, the ad is going to pick a target and charge at that target. Now if I remember right, you used to be able to line of sight the axe. I don't know if you can still line of sight the axe, but I'm pretty sure you used to be able to line of sight the axe. So I would say it's worth testing. But be very careful not to stand in the charge, because the charge is probably going to be a one-shot. Unless you're like a paladin, you have freedom. Or not freedom. What is it that paladins do that reduce? Blessing and protection. Thank you. 10% left on the ad.
Interrupt.
Make sure you're interrupting, demoralizing shout. And we are going to go straight to the end and pull the other ad. So it does actually help if you run forward and you start the roleplay. You just have to be careful running forward because the archers disengage, and if they disengage towards you, it's going to be hard to pull them off of you, unless you're the demon hunter.
A gift of power.
You can control the captain, I think. You used to be able to control the captain, but I totally forgot about that. I actually don't have... I don't think I talent for mind control. Pretty sure that's a talent now. Let's see.
Run.
Yeah, control undead is a talent now, so you actually have to remember to talent control undead. But if you can control the captain, it's probably worth giving up. I would probably give up one of the Will of Necropolis and replace it with the control undead. Because the control undead is going to do a lot more damage than the Will of Necropolis. What the Will of Necropolis does is it reduces your damage taken below 30% health by 35%. All this does, all pulling one stack off does, is it's going to reduce it by 15% instead of 30%. So if I switched it for the captain, I would take off Will of Necropolis and put it on control undead.
Run.
You think I'm still hitting the ad? I think I'm still hitting the ad. Yeah, I am.
I need a target.
But that is a good note, actually. Next time we come into the Theater of Pain, we're going to have to remember to try that out, change our talents for that. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I would suggest making sure your entire party is in the room, because this door actually closes relatively fast. Sometimes.
Defensive. A gift of power.
Yeah, it's not closing. But
Attack
now it's
totem.
closed. I would recommend just waiting on your party before you pull the boss.
Watch
Making
your
sure that
step.
everybody is inside and safe.
I need to get closer.
Watch the frontal. Crushing Slam. Don't stand in Crushing Slam. Defending Crash. Out of the circle. 72% left on the boss. So as soon as the boss throws 2 people down, he's going to summon a banner again. Make sure that if you are still on the top, you focus the banner right away. Banner's going to reduce your movement speed significantly, so you want to make sure you're focusing it as quickly as possible. Now while you're down below, you have 30 seconds, I believe, to kill each other. Let's double check the timer on that.
Watch your step.
Watch the frontal. Oh. Frontal the other way. Out of the circle. 45. Okay, so you have 45 seconds. Once you and the other player are thrown down to the pits, you have 45 seconds to defeat each other.
Attack totem.
If you guys can't defeat each other or agree on a winner, you both get this dot Cowardice. What this Cowardice dot is going to do is it's going to reduce your
Watch your step.
damage by 10% for 20 seconds. Now, regardless of who wins, the other guy is going to get this bloody dot, and their damage is going to be reduced by 10% for 20 seconds. So only the winner benefits from this, but it's better than nobody benefiting from it.
Attack totem.
Banner.
Defensive.
knows no equal.
So yeah, I would suggest the guy who can do more burst damage winning, like just letting him win. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to like choose to lose down in the pit. That would make sense.
Challengers have passed the first trial, but they're still a long way from the title.
Nice. Alright, so the next room we go into, we are going right into this room. So on the left side here, we have the option of pulling the big guy, and that'll make up our percent. In the right room here, there is a lot of percent we can make up, but ideally we meet our percent coming out of this room, and I believe we need to be, I want to say 52% coming out of here. I'd have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure it's 52%. Run straight down the hall and around the corner. Okay, most of the bindings are on me. So as a Death Knight, you don't really have to worry about the bindings because you can use your Death's Advance and make yourself immune to any movement empowering effects, which includes the bindings. So the bindings actually really don't affect you as a Death Knight. You do want to make sure that your entire party makes it around that corner though without being slowed. During the Soulstorm cast, you want to make sure you're using defensives. Soulstorm deals a lot of damage. Back when Shadowlands, Soulstorm used to kill parties. Now I haven't seen it one-shot parties, but we're running 5s. So just keep in mind you want to get used to using a defensive during Soulstorm. The Soulstorm guy is almost dead. We do have to pull the Portal Guardian because the Portal Guardian actually has our Portal Orb that we need. So once he is dead, pick up the orb, go straight to the portal. Now you have 2 choices, left portal or right portal. So depending on the portal you choose, you actually get different ads. It's like choose your own adventure. So these ads cast Bone Spear. You want to be very careful with the Bone Spear and make sure you're getting the interrupt every time Bone Spear is about to be cast. Because Bone Spear actually deals a lot of damage directly to a player, and if you're hit with both the Bone Spears, you probably will be dead. So you want to use CCs or interrupts on the Bone Spear. Your other option here is going to be the Shackled Souls and the Magician. And the Magician casts constantly. You really want to deal with the Bone Spear guys instead of the Magician. Now here, we get 1 of each. We get 1 Bone Spear guy, and we get 1 of the Magicians. So, you want to make sure the same thing, you're interrupting the Bone Spear guy. But now you also want to interrupt the Magician, the Mage. And you're using defensives during the Soulstorm every time. As soon as this Bone Spear guy, or this Mage dies, we're going to pull in these 2 Bone Spears. Oh, good thing I can't interrupt behind me. I almost wasted my interrupt. Careful not to waste your interrupt because you do need to interrupt the Bone Spears. And you cannot interrupt the big guys, so... Did I get? Yeah, I got it. Again, your options are left or right. You want to pick the option that is easier for you. The left portal is going to bring you over to Tornado guys. The right portal is going to bring you over to the Bone Reaver. So... I think that the Tornado guys are easier than the Bone Reaver because the visuals are easier to see. But depending on your party and your interrupts, you may want to go to the Bone Spear guy. The Bone Spear guy has less interrupts, so you don't have to worry about so many Spirit Frosts.
Watch your step. Watch your step.
Hold on. We added a bunch to our poll.
Watch your step.
So, my bad. His Chain Lightning must have grabbed him.
Watch your step.
So, depending on your party's interrupts, I would recommend going the other way.
Your step.
The other guy, this guy, the Soulforge Bone Reaver, he's not going to have as many interrupts. The Bone Spear guys are the only interrupts you have to worry about. You just have to make sure you keep moving, keep dodging all of the bones. In that last room, the only thing you have to you have to worry about both the guys' interrupts and the tornado. That's what I was forgetting. So this Death Winds. Death Winds is going to pick a random target and shoot a tornado in that direction. If you're stuck in the tornado, you're going to be thrown off the cliff. So you want to make sure not to stand in the tornado. Now, if you have any party members coming back towards you, be careful not to face the Death Winds at the portal. Because right before they come in the portal, they can be caught by the wind and thrown out. And then they'll die and they'll have to run back again.
Watch your step.
So make sure you're baiting the Death Wind.
I don't have a target. I need a target.
Okay, that's weird. So we're going back to the Kol Thurok. I have no idea how he says his name. Be nice if he said, I am so-and-so.
Souls are mine
Make sure you're interrupting Necrotic Bolt. Necrotic Bolt needs to be interrupted every time. Sometimes you're going to have to organize who has to interrupt the Necrotic Bolt, but if your party's doing relatively well with interrupts, I would just... Oh, no, don't face the frontal of the party. I would just recommend interrupting the Necrotic Bolt off cooldown, or if you see nobody else has an interrupt. Stack for the adds. So during the adds phase, everybody is going to summon an add on the edge of the map. You want to make sure you're relatively close together during that phase, so that all of the adds are stacked and easy to AoE down. Good news is, the boss actually does not do AoE damage to your party during that phase. Or at all. I don't think he does it at all, actually. So just make sure that you are stacked with your party during that phase, and then unstack with your party after that phase for the frontal. Because you don't want to hit your party with the frontal. That does not make anybody happy. Necrotic Bolt. Make sure you're interrupting Necrotic Bolt. Again. Oh, no, that's not the right arrow. Now, again, stack for your adds. Again, you want to be careful with that frontal. Don't accidentally hit your party with the frontal. Oh, I thought I had an interrupt. I do not. Number 1 rule is the tank. Never turn your back to the boss. Well of Darkness. If Well of Darkness has picked you and you have this Well of Darkness around you, make sure you're using defensives. Well of Darkness is going to do a lot of AoE damage to you and to anybody who is inside of your circle. You want to make sure that you spread out so that nobody is inside of your circle, and you are being careful with your Well of Darkness.
A gift of power.
1% left on the boss.
This does not end
Another trial down! Looks like we might have some real contenders here!
Remember, you can't take the portal until after you're out of combat. Some classes can jump without taking the portal. Death Knights are not one of those classes. If you do want to jump, you actually have to be very careful and make sure that you are... Make sure that you're using, like, a Potions of Gust or something.
Look what we have here! Fresh meat!
Hello, Kevin. Withering Decay, make sure you're interrupting Withering Decay. Pulling to the next area.
too far away.
So I use Blood Boil off cooldown, so if you see me pressing F when this button is off, even if it's on cooldown, I use Blood Boil off cooldown to help keep aggro and deal damage. So Blood Boil is actually my top damage here as a Death Knight. So if you're ever wondering, like, how to keep aggro easier, I would recommend Blood Boil. I forgot to check our percent. Let's see, we're 83%.
My
Going
power
to the Theater of Pain.
is transcendent.
Oh, it deleted our route.
In it.
Now, I believe we should be fine just because generally we pulled a lot. So currently we can't skip the gas bag on either side. The gas bag is actually in the way on both sides. But this side... Okay. But this side, the gas bag was farther away, so we would have been fine to skip,
Watch
but I
your
stepped too
step.
close to it.
I
Careful with
know
that frontal. That's okay. That'll give me a second to fix this map.
It's too far away.
Okay, we got this portal guy. We accidentally pulled these guys off to the side.
Watch your step.
We did not pull these, we pulled the bones. We went over here to the double wind guys. We accidentally pulled that group off to the side. Pulled the end here.
Watch your step.
My power.
What else did we pull? We pulled this guy here. We pulled the first boss. And in this area now we have pulled this, this, and this. So we should be at 88%. 90%. Or 90% because we just killed this. Okay, and then we are going to pull this, this, this. So we will be at 103%. That's okay. That's not, we're not that far over. But we still would have been okay to skip the ad. So we are currently on our way to the third boss, to the fourth boss. We are currently running a 5 Theater of Pain. And we have 12 minutes, 41 seconds left. Be careful on this bridge with the rancid gas bag. There was, oh, my bad. There was a way you could aim the rancid gas bag, but I don't remember how to aim the rancid gas bag. I believe he turns left to your left, so I believe he turns left every time. So wherever the tank's facing, I believe he goes to the left of the tank.
A gift.
Watch your step.
But we're gonna have to, yeah, because see that goes left of the tank. Dang, nabbit. But we're gonna have to test that out a couple more times just to be sure. Like, I think even when he turns around, I'm pretty sure it always goes left. Meat shield. Make sure you're interrupting the meat shield. Decaying strike. Use defensives during decaying strike. That is going to be your tank buster. Go into the next room. Five, holding the gore chop. So be careful with the gore chop. Remember that the chains come down on the left and right side of the room. They'll never come down on the front, which is the doorway, and the back of the room. So you generally, you want to make sure that you are in the safety of the chains. Ouch. You're in safety. You're in the safety away from the chains every time.
Defensive.
I'll catch something good.
Run. Watch your feet.
Careful with the tenderizing smash. Don't step in tenderizing smash.
Defensive.
Watch the oozing leftovers. So these oozing leftovers are going to jump on random people and deal damage to that target. Ideally, you keep these oozing leftovers from jumping by using CCs or roots, some way to keep them down on the ground. Careful with Tenderize. Tenderize does deal a lot of damage to you and your party. And he casts Tenderize every time before the hooks, so you can't pre-put the boss where the hooks are, because Tenderize will just smash your party.
I'll catch something good.
Make sure that you're leaving an open side for your party to run on, so that during the hook phase, your party has somewhere to run.
Run.
Again, Tenderize, you want to make sure that your party is not being blocked from the safe zone because of Tenderize.
Defensive.
%33% left on the gore chop.
A gift.
Careful with the circle.
Defensive.
Those orbs need to be dealt with. Oh, nice. Bear got him. Yeah, druids are awesome for getting the orbs because they just run right over and they smash them all. I would say probably druids.
Defensive.
Probably druids, warlocks, and demon hunters are the best at getting orbs. Rogues are so-so because rogues use their
Defensive.
CCs and their kicks on the mobs, so they don't always have the CCs and the kicks for the extra stuff like orbs.
Watch your feet.
6% left on the boss. 1% left. Just gonna leave those. After the boss dies, run through the door and you can get on the hooks to go back upstairs.
And advance to the final round! Return to the central chamber. It's time
Going
to
left.
begin the main event!
Going right. And now we are going upstairs to the final challenge. Now you notice here it does say instance updated the respawn location, because if you die here, you actually go back to the beginning and we have to redo the skip here. The reason we leave these ads is to pull during this downtime, because you actually have 20 seconds of roleplay before the boss appears, which is actually a long time for roleplay in a dungeon. But you normally would pull these trash, we just pulled enough downstairs that we did not have to worry about the trash upstairs. 96% left on the boss.
Defensive.
We have really good burst damage.
Stay away from lines.
Careful the frontal. We broke him. Boss is supposed to turn with that.
Run. Run out.
Grasping Rift.
Defensive.
Don't stand on the Grasping Rift. The Grasping Rift is a one-shot. So it's not super easy to get away from the Grasping Rift after it's spawned. You want to make sure that you pre-run away before it spawns in
Stay
completely.
away from lines.
Frontal.
Defensive.
Remember, you do not want to stand in that frontal. That frontal will kill you.
Run.
Well, if it doesn't kill you, it'll push you against the ads, and the ads will knock you back into the frontal, and that's what will kill you. Careful the ghosts.
Defensive. Stay away from lines.
Dark Devastation. Be careful with Dark Devastation. I don't know. He just flipped.
Run out. Defensive.
Ow. Yeah, I saw it. I would have died too to that.
Interrupt.
I literally was clicking a defensive right as he hit me, or else I would have been dead.
Stay away from lines.
Yeah, boss has 20%, and this is it.
Defensive.
And we have 2 battle rifles. One more now. Rift. Run away from the rift. Just keep running and using defensives. Watch the charging guys. Remember there are 4 charging guys.
Stay away from lines.
Lock beam again. How did that even hit me?
Well done.
Nice.